All right, this is the PC we use to get into our router CLI. With this white Ethernet adapter, we were able to connect to the firewall/router with the PC. Um, and this is just the firewall. With this white cord, we have our firewall connected to this computer tower. And then with this other cord, we have our firewall router connected to the switch over there.
So right here, we are showing the connection between the switch and the firewall. On the switch, it is connected from Ethernet 1 to, on the switch, gigabit Ethernet 10. Then here on the switch to the router, it is fast Ethernet 1 on the router connected to gigabit Ethernet 9 on the switch. Then right here, I have a hub for gigabit Ethernet 8 to my PC. That also will include the console port, rollover cable to that hub, all both connected into my USB-C port to allow for me to connect to both devices. Right here, I am now showing that I'm connected to both devices by pinging uh, each IP address, which is 192.168.1.254 for the switch. And as you see, all the packets are received. Now I'm pinging the router, which is 192.168.1.253. And as you can see here, all the packets are being received from my PC to the router and switch.
Hello, this is Trishelle from Group 2. I'll be showing you how we set up our firewall router for our group project. First, we open up Device Manager. And here we can see we have our router physically connected to the PC. So when you go to ports, you can see that our COM3 is active. And then we go to Network Connections. And there you can see that Ethernet 6 is on. First, we open that up. We go to Properties. And here we go to the Internet Protocol version 4. Go to Properties again. And it was set to obtain an IP address automatically, but we changed it and manually filled in the IP address for our router. We have that all set. And then we go ahead and open up PuTTY. And there we go to serial, set our serial line to COM3, which is the port that was active in our device manager. And we go down, turn the flow control to none, open PuTTY, and now we are in the CLI.
Awesome. Thank you, Trishelle. So now that we're in, I'm going to show you some stuff that we have set up on the router or slash firewall. So the first command I'm going to use is show interface IP brief. And that's going to show us all of the stuff that we have set up. So first off, we can see all of our ports, 0 through 7. And we have some internal data ports, and then we have some VLANs that we have set up. If we want to get more details on just the VLANs, we can use show interface VLAN. Oh, my bad. Show interface. So switch VLAN, and I'll give you some more details on that, so you can see ports 1 through 7 are all designated to VLAN 1. Port 0 is designated 0 on to Ethernet port 0. And then we have another group 1 that is turned off. We can also just go right into a specific VLAN if we want to. So let's say if I want to go into VLAN 1, I can use this command. And this will show all the details of it. You can see the IP address, you can see the subnet mask, packets that have been gone in and gone out, and so on and so forth. And I can also see other devices that are connected to it currently. So if I use the command show ARP, I can see that my computer, which is 200, 200, 210 is connected, and I can see the switch that is also connected to it, 172.16.1.1. So if I want to ping those, I can ping my computer since we set that up previously. I can use the ping command, so ping 200, 200, 200.10, and that gives me a success. And I can also ping that switch over there. So if I ping 172.16.1.1, it also gives me a success. If we had computers connected to that, we could also ping those computers and see them, but there's nothing connected to them right now. I can also ping just from my computer. So if I wanted to ping the switch or ping our router / firewall, I can use its IP address, which is 200.200.200.1. And it always fails on the first try and then works for some reason, as you can see. So if I try it again, it'll work all 4 times. And so yeah, that's everything that we did on our firewall.
Alright, to show our demonstration of how we got into the switch configuration, we had many trials and many errors, but we did eventually get it. Just due to lack of timing, we were not able to get back into it, but we do have screenshots from the first time when we did it. So here is just to show our success. We have where we successfully pinged it, and it was received. But basically, when we were finally able to get into it through the GUI, this was the first screen that we saw. We logged in, I believe, yeah, we signed in with the username and password Cisco, and it let us log in. We then changed it to the user WIU and the password capital W, lowercase IU lab 25. I think it had prompted us to do that, so we ended up to change it. We got to this screen, and this was inside the actual switch. We then went to ipconfig, and we went to DHCP server, and then into network pools. From there, that's where we had decided to set up our subnetting. So Nathan will go ahead and explain why we chose all these numbers and what they mean.
So hey, this is Nathan. So we did this a while ago. So the first thing we had to set our subnet mask. We just set that to 255.255.250. And then we started our subnet at 10 all the way to 254. We just made it good for a day. And then we made our default router address 192.168.1.1. And then all the rest of the settings didn't really matter that much. We just kind of left those at default. And so then again, going back to the top to confirm that everything that we set up worked. Here's a screenshot of me pinging the router from my computer. So back when we first did this, we set the router's IP was set to 192.168.1.254. It's changed, so that's why we don't know what it is because other groups have changed it. So back when we did it, we pinged this address and we got a reply back, and it worked. It was successful. So that's all that we did for accessing the GUI of the switch. We tried using the CLI. It did not work at the time. I believe it does work now. Going through that process is very similar to configuring the firewall, which we did in one of the other videos. That's all that we have. Thank you.
So on Mac OS, it runs similar to Linux when you're trying to get into a router via serial port. So you're going to start a screen, and then you're going to use the dev.cu.star command to first find what devices are connected. So there will be one that always says serial if you're connected to a serial port, and that will be the device you want to screen into. So once you do that, you should be into the enable, so you should be in privileged exec mode. You're gonna use show IP interface brief to see what everything is allocated currently to. So it'll show fast Ethernet connections 172.16.1.1 that is connected to the firewall, and it is up, as you can see, through its status and manually up. Fast Internet Ethernet 0-1, that's connected to the switch through a 192.168.1 address with the subnet mask of 255.255.255.192, and I'll run through it to show you how to set it up. And then the loopback address of 10.0.0.1, that's just the switch looping its address. So let's set up the address. We're going to go into config T, which is going to say enter configuration commands 1 per line. Then you're going to go into the interface that you want to set up. So in this instance, we're going to go to Fast Ethernet 0-1. A faster way to go to Fast Ethernet, you can just do FA and then whatever port you're trying to set up, and then this will show up. So config-IF, which stands for config interface. You're then going to type in IP address and then put it to the address that you're looking to do. So in this instance, we're going to do 192.168.1.253, and then you're going to have the subnet directly following by a white space. So it's going to be 255.255.255.192. Why 192? It is for scalability in the future so that you have enough addresses for, let's say, printers, other management devices, or any other devices that may come into your network. Since this is a classroom, 64 is a little bit of overkill, but it just allows for that expansion in case you need it. Once you enter that in, nothing will show up. That's a good sign. There's no errors. So we're going to exit out into privilege exec. This will show up that something was configured to enter. And then we're going to ping the switch, which is 192.168.1.254. I lost my train of thought. And then it will show that all the packets are being sent properly. And then you can also try to ping a specific device. So I'm going to ping my device 192.168.1.200. That's not good. And it showed that it wasn't able to find it initially. That was just like getting it into its, what is it called? Its address table. So now when you ping it, it will now show up. Nathan, are you connected to a 192 address, or are you a 172? For the...
I'm connected to it.
Okay, yeah, it's not going to ping them. If you want to show a different ping, so we're going to ping the switch 172, or not the switch, the firewall, .16.1.2. There's a success rate, and then I can ping any device that switch is or that firewall is connected to. What's your address? 172.
My address in my computer?
Yeah. 16.
200,
210, you said? Let's see if it... Nope, it doesn't find it. I can just cut that out. It won't find it because it's not within that address range. Because at least this to that is a 172 address. So if it was a 172 address, I'd be able to ping it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So when trying to connect to the switch's CLI initially, as we talked about with the router, when you're connected to the serial port, there should be a device that pops up. So this is the connection for the router as we just showed, but there's not one for the switch. And unfortunately, the switch's serial port is broken. So how do we get around getting into the switch? Well, we have to go to the GUI. So we're going to type in, we're going to just close this. We're going to type in the address of the switch. So 192.168.1.254, as previously shown when we pinged it. And then the login will show up for the GUI. So we set the username to WIU and the password to WIU Lab 25 for access. And there will show all of the stats and all the information about the switch. And in order for a device to actually connect into the CLI, we have to have some sort of outside connections where you don't have to be directly connected to the serial port, but you can find your way in. So to do that, we're going to go into security, and then we're going to go into TCP UDP services. These are all the types of connections that you can have that are remote. SSH specifically is very good because almost every device has an SSH capability. So even we can disable Telnet SNMP just to show. And then we'll go back to the CLI. Initially, you would try SSH screen 192.168.1. Or admin, my bad. Admin at 192.168.1.254. And it cannot resolve a host name, no server name provided. It's a whole issue. So we found out that there's a lot of missing keys for this Oxy, unable to negotiate. Their offer is this specific grouping. So through trial and error and asking ChatGPT about 1 million times how to get in, we found the algorithm that it does offer. So it's -O KEX algorithms equals plus Diffie Hellman group 1 SHA / host key algorithms equals SSH plus RSA / admin 192.168.1.254, which is the address of the switch. So when we hit enter here, it'll ask for the username, which is going to be the same thing that you put in for the GUI, and then WIU Lab 25, which is the password. That allows you to now get into the switch. It's fine. And now you're able to go, or you're going to be in config, or not config. You're going to be in privilege exec mode when you first come in, and you're not able to get out of it. So you're not going to be able to just be in normal, the normal serial when you first initially get in. You're automatically into privilege exec. I didn't type in the whole password. So config T, and you can do anything that if you're connected to a serial port, you're able to do everything. So here's all the commands in config T that you're able to run. You're able to set addresses to, since this is a layer 3 switch, you're able to set IP addresses to certain ports, set up VLANs. You're able to, so let's, I guess, show how to set up a VLAN 3 group, or name group. And now we can go back. I believe it's, I can't remember exactly the command. Let's go through. Show. Interfaces. These are all the show commands through. If you hit question mark, it'll show anything that starts with a show VLAN 3. No, wrong number of parameters. Show VLAN name, and it is able to show the VLAN that we just did. There's no tag ports currently. There's no untag currently, and then it was created by S switch. So that's how you're able to go into the CLI of the switch, how you're able to create any commands with any of these, or create anything on the switch with all these commands. And yeah, once you want to exit out, just hit exit, and now you're going to be in show your normal terminal.
It has started. Cool. All right. Cable working. You plug one in the remote, one in there. It blinks 1 through 8. It works. These are Cat 5 cables, so we're gonna have to crimp them Cat 5 style. So turn that off. To conserve cables, we're just gonna trim this at the very end. Just cut it there. Boop. We need this strip. We'll put it through there. Cut there. Maybe this. Whoop. I cut that bit off. Whoops. I'm just gonna do that. And then just gonna try stripping it with the crimping tool. Doesn't do it very well. We're gonna strip it on through here. Or not. These cables are big. Hold on. How long do you think these need to be? Probably strip like an inch, right? Okay. Stripped. And now we need to. We can slide this through. It's like the collar. Okay. And then we need to orient them in the right order. So it needs to be white into. Oh my god. Okay. White, red, light green, dark green. Oh, actually, that's really convenient. Light green, dark blue, light blue. So they are already laid out in a clockwise manner, I guess. So you can just
Bring it closer.
How do you bring yourself closer?
That's what I'm doing.
Just bend that out of the way. And probably cut this plastic thing as well. So cut that to make life easier on yourself. Alright. So white, red, light green, dark blue, light blue, light brown, purple.
Sounds right. Yeah.
So like that. It's hard to see and they keep shifting, but trust the process. Oh my god, just lay out, please. Oh, dude, that's gonna suck. Then you have to, because you have to align them in here.
Got like a guide. And there's not like a holder in there.
So we just have to get it in properly the first time. Sweet. Which, how do you do that? Okay, you can stop the camera for now. All right, so from last time, we just rather than stripping only a little bit, we stripped more, about like 2 or 3 inches. And then we're using that to try and straighten the cables. There are these thin plastic. There's a thin plastic shield to prevent the twisted pairs from cross-talking a lot. So we snipped that out to make it easier. We aligned the cables with about how much we think, because you need some of the shield or some of the shield of the wire to go there. And then we cut it off, and now we're just gonna slide it in, clip facing away.
They each crossed on me.
We crossed.
Mm-hmm.
And then optimally, it goes in one shot with nothing, but worst comes to worst, you just realign them and then shove them in and then crimp. We'll be back to you with the crimping. All right, after much trial and error, we managed to arrange the cables and snip them in. It does take a lot of time and a lot of dexterity. Just keep going. And then to crimp, you'll take this, you'll just put it in the Cat 5 and push until it goes all the way down. And it should be crimped. Everything is in. And just slide the shield we put down earlier. And now we find out if it worked or not. So one cable in there, other in here, and it works, baby. So it's not too difficult. You just got to spend a lot of time and a lot of practice aligning everything. Highly recommend stripping about 1.5 inches of the shielding at a time and really work and like try and arrange the cables all the way. All the way. Well, maybe I can't get it out anymore with the shield on. But try really arranging all the cables so they are straight here. Thank you.
So,
Cutting it off.
so we have to cut it off, and I would
So we have
recommend.
a clean sheet. And
How the fuck do I strip
You can
it?
do. I can. You want me to show it?
Yeah.
So
He's
like,
gonna strip it.
now we're gonna strip the
put
wires.
it
So
into
the-
this part. I'm gonna strip off a lot so we have extra cables to put into there. So I'm just gonna put it here. Just kind of like twist it. Pull. Should just take that right off. And then we don't need this plastic piece either. So let's trim that down. Let's see, so stick it on here. Put it right here. Just gonna trim that off, just like that. And then we got to feed in. This is the first pair. It's gonna be the white and the red. So we're gonna feed this one in. Sorry, yeah, I think it's this side, yeah.
Of course. Left white, one red.
So there we go. We got first pair in. We're
Clip
gonna
up.
go light green.
Light green.
Following the opposite end.
Then dark blue.
Dark blue, and then big blue. So twist it out a little bit. Okay, 2 at once. Let's put one at a time. Get that one in. That one in. We're going to put the green. This is for pair 3 and 6. And then we have the light brown and the dark blue.
Yep. Can't get on brown.
There we go.
Now we have extra at the very
Just
end.
pull it in just to make sure we get as stable as the connection. And these cables have to come through. You can see it has to go into this part of the connector. So I'm just gonna pass it through there.
Feed it all the way in.
That. And then Nick's just gonna squeeze it and make sure all the other cables came on. I can get stuck a little bit.
Oh, one got stuck.
That's fine. If you release it, might go.
Okay. Put it back in.
It's gonna like.
It does not want to cut.
I think it's like kind of got jammed in there. Maybe take the end out of it. Yeah, see, they kind of got jammed a little bit. So. Yeah, just put it through again. Oh gosh. Wait, try to put it in more.
Oh shit.
There you go.
There he goes.
There we go. And now
We're gonna put it into the tester, both ends. So the new end is gonna go into. The old end goes into the left. New end goes into the right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
and there
And
we go.
there we go. They're all connected.
Good job, guys. Good. Final connection. You got
It's all working. And got working.
Thanks, Tyler, for taking the video.
Initially, and hours of
Interface.
Yes, sir.